Welcome into the Thunder Basketball universe presented by COOP Ale Works. It's another very special episode. If you watched our episode last week, you saw that we were talking about the Thunder Films' brand new documentary called Seeds of Greenwood. We're going to continue talking about that today. And here with us is a familiar face to the Thunder Basketball Universe podcast, but the first time he's ever been in our studio, our physical studio. So please help us in welcoming the executive director of the Thunderfellows program all the way from Tulsa, Mr. Cedric Ikpo. Cedric, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Good to be in the digs today.
Yeah. As you said, you've been working so hard up in Tulsa. We had to get you down the turnpike, get you here in OKC, and we're really excited to just dig in with you on not only the program, but the process of having cameras inside your space all year and then getting this film to fruition.
Yeah. So the last time we talked to you, the program was just getting off the ground.
Yep.
You were just getting the ball rolling, and we were, trying to pick your brain on how all of this was coming together for you. It's been a year now. The kids have done their capstone projects.
Yep.
How has this year been for you?
It has been wild. It's been wild, but like incredibly rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
To take a group of kids that we didn't really know, right? We went through the interview process and had a good idea of how they could end up, but like to see them and have them develop as individuals, but as a collective and a unit has been amazing. And just so many people to thank. We haven't done this on our own by any means. So many people behind the scenes supporting us and providing resources and opportunities and exposure, and our kids, really owning the program and owning their role in pioneering this program for the next generation of folks. So it's been incredible. And I mean, I'm really excited.
You had two dual challenges that were massive in front of you at the beginning of this. One, you had to win every day with the kids on the ground, which anyone who's in education knows is a challenge in its own. But you also kind of had this task of building something that could be sustainable in the long term in Tulsa, and that this program needed to be a step further at this stage than it was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
How did you navigate those two probably potentially competing challenges at the same time?
It was a challenge, right? But a good one, a fun one. Obviously, I think having the name Thunder in our branding really helped to kind of lure the kids, right? And then from there, like we had to make sure that we lived up to our name, lived up to our promises. And so it was constantly, we had some decent ideas of what the program would look like, the different types of opportunities we'd able to put them in. But, as you start to kind of pepper things in front of the kids, you start to realize, okay, maybe this is going to have a little bit more legs, and maybe let's tweak here and shift here. And then all the while, as we're going, different folks who catch wind of the program want to be involved and want to support. And so we're always just kind of taking bits and pieces and engaging different people and tweaking the program. And so, as the priority is that the kids enjoy and want to be a part, because it is a 30-week program. It's after school. We're taking them away from their free time, whatever that could be, whether it be taking naps or playing video games or sports or extracurriculars. And so, like, how do we engage them when they're in the space and then keep them coming back? Then beyond that, we're starting something that we've continuously touted. This is just the beginning. And so developing something that allows the kids to be able to help shape and mold while remaining invested and engaged, but then also keeping 3 to 5 years, 10 years down the road, in our line of sight, and making sure that what we're doing now is setting us up for success down the road. So it's been fun, but we've got a great team of folks that are making this come to life.
I wanted to tap into something that you talked about, because I think this is a big deal, that when you were building this program, when everybody was building this program, nobody really knew exactly what the picture would look like in real life. And now you've got the full year under your belt. What has surprised you, I guess? What has been kind of the proudest thing for you in seeing how these kids have actually taken the reins of this program and how this program has grown over the year?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple more recent examples to point out. Obviously, the Capstone a couple weeks ago, or that last week, like, it was just so powerful. I think not only because of the fact that they were able to showcase and put all the things that we've helped teach them into practice, but like they not only did they do that, but they did it well. And they did an excellent job, and they showed out, and they represented themselves, their families, our program incredibly well. And I just couldn't be more proud of our product that we were able to deliver in one short year. It's actually probably less than a calendar year since we first saw the kids, and so it's been wonderful in that regard. And but that said, going back maybe 3 weeks, we actually had an event at the PGA Championship called Beyond the Green. And it just really highlighted the different opportunities outside of actually playing the sport and swinging the golf club. And, they talked about how much money is made in golf and the different career opportunities that exist. But there's one point in particular that will just continues to stand out for me. I think one of the MCs for the event called out another organization that was there, another organization of students, and they said, "You guys have the coolest shirts around, right?" In the house. And one of the kids from our program said, nah, this is where it's at. And I didn't acknowledge it to him, but I just think that that was unsolicited. He truly took pride in the brand and wearing it. He's also a basketball player. So the amount of time that he has to juggle between his extracurriculars, school and everything is one, but to really take a liking and ownership and being a steward of this brand, I think is incredible and really speaks volumes.
I want to level set just a little bit because you mentioned the PGA. You all have partnered this year with so many incredible companies that are helping usher these kids a little bit further along their journeys in terms of their understanding of sports, the tech world, coding and entrepreneurship and that type of thing. In addition to the program that you have in-house with the teachers and the staff that you have, can you kind of go through a little bit of some of these companies that you all did partner with and how the curriculum inside of Fellows actually impacted these kids in terms of what they learned this year?
Sure. So I think we started the year just really focusing on, kind of soft skill development, getting them comfortable. It's really taking inventory on what their passions are personally and how those might lead into potential careers, meaningful careers down the road. As a part of that, we really wanted to make sure that in order for us to make it stick and to make it real, put them in front of industry leaders, many of whom look like them, but many who were involved in the tech space, in sports and entertainment. And so through that, we even connected them with folks from HBO Max, some media companies out west called Rue Media, Wilson Sporting Goods, Creative Artists Agency, obviously the Oklahoma City Thunder, both on the basketball and business side. We've engaged them with different tangible manipulatives, engaging with different robots as well. They've toured multiple universities, including the University of Tulsa, Oklahoma State University, and their state-of-the-art STEM program. So it really does stress the gambit of the different types of things that we've done. And I'm leaving off many, but I think it, as you mentioned, it touches on sports, entertainment, technology, and entrepreneurship is a big thing. And the reason being is because the fact that we're, in the Greenwood district, the fact that this is in Tulsa, this was developed on the on the eve of the Tulsa 100th anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre, incorporating and embedding a lot of those principles of what Greenwood and Black Wall Street stood for is at the heart of what we're doing, and always trying to tie back the fact that you guys are the next generation of what Black Wall Street was and will be. So I think all of that in a nutshell is what Thunderfellows is, and we're really excited about it.
In the full circle, just one thing, the full circle of that is this capstone that you discussed.
Yep.
That's so geared towards the idea that you just laid out about this program being centered in the Greenwood district. Can you share a little bit about what maybe some of these ideas and concepts were that came out through the Capstone Project to try to continue to reinvest and reinvigorate the Greenwood district?
For sure. So the challenge question for the Capstone Project was to come up with, incorporate data and analytics and use that to drive your solutions to improve and innovate the Greenwood district. And anyone that's been in Tulsa today, what you see of Greenwood is a small sliver, tiny sliver of what it once was. And so we're talking about the 35 block Greenwood district that once stood. And so it's wonderful. Miss Whitley from our side, took them through that area so they can see for themselves, okay, this is right there was a theater, right here was a doctor's office, this was a business, etc. All this area was thriving, beautiful homes, etc. And so how can you as the next generation, 100 years later, what can you do to pour back in and reinvigorate this community? And so they took data and analytics, there's many people surveyed folks locally. Many people created ideas of apps and prototypes for different machines to improve their community. We saw everything from creating a kiosk mall in Greenwood district, which there is no mall in North Tulsa. We saw someone create an idea around a technological hospital with opportunities to train young people within the Greenwood district.
Wow.
Using AI and using technology to help train them and go through different activities and exercises there. We saw folks the idea of, there's a group of 5 young men who had an idea that music isn't taught enough in schools, or that as we're familiar, the arts are being taken away, and there's less funding there. But they came up with an idea to use an app to help train and bolster anybody's skills musically, regardless of what end of the spectrum you're on, either beginner, intermediate, or expert. You can use this app to meet you where you are and learn music, but not only learn like the chords and learn how to play instruments, but to also learn the industry of music and how you can then be your own boss and start and own your own the rights to your music. It's crazy, so high school sophomores and freshmen are talking about owning the rights to your music, and so it really did span a wide range of different types of ideas, and so it was incredible to see. And the last thing I'll say is there's also one girl in our program who's already an active entrepreneur, does hair, and she decided to use to create a technologically advanced hair salon that is like touch screens everywhere, and payments are accepted electronically, and you can visually see what the different hairstyles will look on you. So it's she's taking what she already does and is actually going to help her personally, and I'm excited to see where it ends up.
It's incredible to see how the kids' eyes have been opened because of this program, that not just the opportunities that are out there, but the things that they can do within themselves with the knowledge that they have. And that's what we exactly try to document in this film that we want to be able to talk to you about. Sure. But we're going to take a short break right here, and we'll be right back right after this.
COOP Ale Works is the proud sponsor of Thunder Basketball Universe. Brewers of the fan favorites F5 IPA and 99-calorie Ice Chest IPA. You'll find those and many more COOP beers at retailers across Oklahoma. Learn more at coopaleworks.com.
We are so excited about the release of Seeds of Greenwood. All of us are producers on this project, which I think is fascinating because me and Gallo obviously have the day job of reporting on the Oklahoma City Thunder, 82 games a season. Cedric is running a program that he had to start from scratch, basically, in an entirely different city, while also being a producer on this project. First and foremost, how was that balance? Because I don't think producer was on your resume before you started with the Thunder at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, and how do you produce something that you're actually doing? You're a producer on a film about something that you're actively working on at the same time.
It's been an incredible exercise for me, just a stretch opportunity to get that peek behind the scenes and behind the curtain, just see what the process entails. And obviously the priority and the focus is always making sure that the program is running well, that we're engaging the kids in the right way, that we are developing programming and curriculum that is impactful and sustainable. But at the same time, we have this unique opportunity to tell the story of the program that's being built in real time. And so, it was a very cool to wear both hats, but I think I'm really excited about the story that we're about to tell. And, I think people from all over the community are really going to get a good understanding of what our young people are like, what the program is like, and just see its growth over time. So it's been fun, to say the least.
I'm curious because I don't think many of these kids are used to being around cameras or having cameras in their face. You're in there with them every single day. Our incredible director, videographer, and editor, Michael Zubak, Mr. Z, coming up to Tulsa in Thunderfellows and with that camera almost every day. Well, what was the student reaction to that?
I think initially, it took some getting used to, right? Like they're just not used to that. But the more the cameras were in, it just became second nature, and it wasn't even, didn't even notice it sometimes, and they wouldn't even realize until after we were leaving. It's like, oh, Mr. Z is here, and so, I think it just goes to show that we were able to really tell authentic stories and of capturing the kids doing what they do as they would naturally and genuinely. And so what we'll see, I think, is a true wonderful example of that. But I mean, after late fall, like it was just second nature, and it was great.
One thing heading into this that we all understood is Thunderfellows is and was going to be this sort of precious incubator. I know, Paris, you've heard me use that term before. And I think what people are going to see from the film is just such a tender, sweet story of how this came together, the people that are involved in, helping these kids on a day-to-day basis, and then the actual kids themselves. As you were a part of the filmmaking process, how would you describe maybe what people are going to see in the film?
I think you're going to see the process and the intentionality around why this program is being created, but making sure that the right people were in the room, the right voices were heard as it was being created and developed, to making sure that in order for us to create this product that can stand the test of time and also live up to the high expectations that we have internally for it, we had to identify the right group of kids for this inaugural cohort. Right. And I think that we did that, but I'm excited because the people who watch this film will undoubtedly agree that we really struck gold by identifying the kids that we did. And, to be honest, I and my team were shocked in a lot of ways as far as how much development and growth and just budding of young, successful people came about over the course of the year. So it's incredible. Little peek behind the scenes and, maybe some of their personal lives as well. But overall, like how the group came together as one.
One thing I've said pretty frequently when thinking about this film and talking about this film is that I feel like everybody that watches it is going to get something a little different out of it, right? Like for me and Gallo, there's kind of maybe an inspirational aspect, a motivational and educational aspect to it. But I feel like for a high schooler in North Tulsa who sees other high schoolers that look like them coding and, being a part of STEM and doing robotics, that could be really motivational as well. What do you hope audiences get from this film and, knowing the work that you put into it and the intention behind it? Yeah,
I think it takes effort to progress. It takes effort to grow. Like if you want to get from point A to point B, it doesn't just happen, right? You have to take those steps. You have to put the reps in. You have to practice. You have to make the intentional decision to come to this program twice a week, in the evenings and some Fridays and some weekends. And, I don't want to spoil anything, but like, it just was, it takes effort and intentionality to get to where you want to be. And I think you'll see that in several of the kids in that, like, they go through challenges just like anybody else. And then if anything, there's probably more challenges that they have to go through than their peers. And so, but all that said, regardless of any external forces and factors, they're in the program, they're committed, they're growing, they're developing, they are seeing a bright future for themselves. And I think that folks around them as well see that potential in them. And just to go to show, it's in anybody. And it's just a matter of if you pour in and invest in folks, the sky's the limit.
So this film, it's coming to Tulsa, and the folks in Tulsa will have a chance to see it. I'm really excited to see the kids' reactions to this as well. I know that they haven't seen it yet, and so I'm really excited to see that. But there's going to be a free public screening on Saturday, the 18th in Tulsa at Circle Cinema. And that's your opportunity to get out there and see this film for yourself that we all put in so much time and energy to make for you.
Yeah, people in Oklahoma City got a chance to see it at Dead Center Film Festival last weekend. we're very pumped about this opportunity in Tulsa. And then after that, the film will be available on OKCThunderFilms.com, on the Thunder's YouTube pages. And of course, you can go to the @OKCThunder social media pages and find it everywhere. We're going to be blasting Seeds of Greenwood out all over the place. So definitely come on out to Circle Cinema on Saturday.
Yes, we are very, very proud of this. And Cedric, I can't even imagine the pride that you have in this. Not only just putting together this project, but you got to see these students go from, where they applied to this, and now they have really blossomed into great students going into the world and contributing as well. So I can only imagine the pride that you have at this moment after Thunderfellows.
It's special. Kudos to you guys, and it's been wonderful work with you all, and putting this program together, putting this film together. And I really just want to see the raw reactions of the public. And I just hope they get out of it, slightly what, the little bit of what I was able to get out of it myself. So, it's exciting.
Awesome. Cedric, thank you so much for taking the trip down here just to come talk to us. We really appreciate it. And for you, we got to let you know what's on tap coming down the pipeline for the Thunder. We keep mentioning it to you. I know you've got it marked on your calendar. June 23rd, the NBA draft will be taking place. Don't you worry. We'll have boots on the ground, aka Nick Gallo, in the Barclays Center, being there to cover all of that for you.
And before that, we will have a draft preview podcast for you right before the draft, a few days ahead of time. And as you mentioned, we are going to have our Thunder crew out there, broadcast team, social, everybody in place to mark what's a big time occasion. The Thunder has got the 2nd, the 12th, the 30th, and 34th picks in that draft. So should be very exciting stuff.
You're going to want to tune in and pay close attention. Don't you worry. We've got you covered on all of that information. Until then, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much to Cedric Ikpo for joining us at the desk today, and for our producer, Matt Bishop. And until next time, Thunder up, and catch you later.